Unicorn Warriors Eternal's two-part premiere is great, and it made me feel like a kid again watching the Samurai Jack premiere on VHS, which I rented from Hollywood Video. Genndy Tartakovksky's show Samurai Jack was a show with an ongoing story that I really loved, and its multi-part premiere was very memorable to me. Unicorn Warriors Eternal's premiere is great as well, with it having a promising premise. We have these three magical beings who get reincarnated as humans throughout time, who get awakened by a robot from the future called Copernicus. The montage at the start of part 1 was just straight up badass. We get a really cool action set piece at the end of the second part of the premiere, with them beating up a zombie elephant. The thing that is most interesting to me though is the human aspect, that being that prior to becoming the warriors, they have ordinary lives, like Melinda, who previously lived a life as a woman named Emma who was preparing to get married. Everyone else in the show is pretty quick to assume their roles of Sang and Edred, but the first awakened warrior Melinda is the one who struggles the most. She still has memories of being Emma. She clearly still cares for her fiance Winston, but for some reason, whenever he approaches her, she tells her she's Melinda. The conflict that arises is that Edred has an established relationship with Melinda. However, in her new reincarnation, Melinda has no feelings for him at the moment. She still clearly cares for Winston, which is apparent after she sees him unconscious at the end of the episode. Sang got a good amount of focus in this episode too, with him being childish in his young reincarnation. He lived alone in an abandoned orphanage prior to being reawakened. Edred, originally a street magician in his reincarnation, however, gets awakened at the end, so he doesn't get a lot of screen time, but he assumes his role right away. We also get hints at the villain of this show, that being a evil fox lady. Overall, this show has a lot of promise. Genndy has had this idea on his mind for 20 years in the making, with it being thought up when Samurai Jack's original run and Clone Wars had ended. The idea for the show even came out of a cancelled Astro Boy film that Genndy almost directed. He was also inspired by the Ghibli film Castle in the Sky. He wanted to stray away from the style of Dexter's Lab and Samurai Jack. However, sadly, at the time, Cartoon Network passed on their original idea, but I am glad it's finally a show now. The influence of Osamu Tezuka, creator of Astro Boy, is very apparent in the art style of Unicorn Warriors Eternal. The first 2 episodes of this show overall are fantastic, and I highly recommend you all check this series out. I'm glad that this show ended up on Adult Swim, which is great and fits totally in line with Genndy's work, since the final season of Samurai Jack aired on that block, and as did Primal. I'm glad Genndy is still making stuff for Cartoon Network. I'm glad they inked a deal. I'm glad Genndy is finally getting his flowers. This has been ShadeX, and I hope you all feel nothing but good vibes.
It's not that. It's not that easy in green. Having to spend each day the color of the leaves. It's not that easy in green. Having to spend each day the